For those with good taste.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? It's your boys from For Those With Good Taste. I'm Matt. He's Lenny.
Que lo que?
Oh, the delayed que lo que, dude.
Yeah, dude, I made him wait for it.
That was money in the bank.
Yeah, I made him wait.
As always, thank you for tuning in. We're coming at you with some Loki downloads. We're coming at you with some Bad Batch, some trailer delayed reactions.
Yeah.
And then we're going to react to some stuff that we watched over the week.
Yeah, and we'll talk about some stuff maybe coming forward, coming up the pipeline.
I mean, we could also talk about that amazing podcast that we just did with Hey Archer.
Holy shit, dude. Where can they find that?
They can find that on the For Those With Good Taste channel on YouTube.
They can.
And they could also listen to it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Deezers, all the other stuff.
Yep, even find them somewhere around D's Nuts, baby.
We got it in
Got
early,
'em.
baby. Cha-ching! But no, man. How was your weekend?
Where do I start, Matt? Where do I start?
It was kind of a loaded question.
Yeah, well, I'd like to point out, I had this epiphany this morning, Matt. You know, like you wake up and you have to decide what shirt you're going to wear. And
What underwear you're going to wear. Yeah, I hear
like
you.
I'm staring at the closet, flipping through some options, and I come across a shirt. And I'm like, you have an option, man. You can be a bandwagon, fair weather type of dude who hops off.
Yeah.
You know, just says like, fuck it. You know, maybe threatening people's lives and like telling them like, you know, where they sleep or whatever is like a not cool thing to say. And then like posting about their daughters isn't cool. And you think you could jump off the bandwagon there. But I decided instead, Matt, I stared at the shirt and it was just Conor McGregor giving a middle finger. And I was like, dude, you just gotta...
It's fitting.
You got to stay on board, man. So, yeah, while it was a tough weekend, I think you can hear the distraughtness in my voice still.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, my guy broke his leg, his ankle. Was not probably doing great up until that point. But I do take some solace in, like, and I said this. Dude, look at that punch he misses before his ankle falls in half. That thing was a hammer. Like, no, I think he knew it was the last punch he was going to throw.
Oh, he threw everything behind it.
And if it landed on the side of Dustin's head, he literally might have dropped him.
Yeah, and
it didn't happen, you know?
Well, it didn't happen, and what did happen left me speechless, man. Like, I knew what had happened, and I was just like, oh, man. Like, is this how it ends?
Well, you know what sucks about, like, the moment of watching it for me is, allegedly, if I was to stream it, whenever Conor fights, because there's so many people also allegedly streaming it.
Yeah.
It makes it so it's like your connection, you have to restart it every once in a while. And like, dude, like it was the last minute of the first round. My connection died. I had to restart it.
And you almost feel comfortable at that point, right? You're like, there's no way this is ending in one round.
He was getting his face elbowed into oblivion right before that, Matt. So I wasn't necessarily comfortable. What happened was I anticipated when I started to stream that he got finished. I was ready because exactly what you're saying. You're almost just like I was preparing myself for the fact that I was going to come back and he got stopped on the ground because he couldn't get him off of him.
Yep.
But when I came back and instead I just find him like sitting on the ground and I hear Rogan saying like, I think he broke his leg. I think it's broken.
And it was just weird because it was a series of events that kind of led to it. You know, over these last couple of days, I've had a chance to, you know, basically scour the internet, do the detective homework, and try and figure out what exactly went wrong.
Where it all went wrong.
Yeah, where it all went wrong, right?
Put the breadcrumbs together.
Yeah, and when you look at it all, man, you know, there's a leg kick, there's a checked kick, Dustin pointing it out like, hey, that's not going to be good for you.
Yeah.
And then Conor lands a kick on the elbow. Have you seen that video?
Yeah, I've seen the elbow, and I've seen the still of him kicking the leg right after it.
Yeah, and it's like it was a recipe for disaster. And I've heard people say he had to have been bringing an injury into it.
I mean, his coach said that he got scanned.
Yeah.
And they have the scans of it before the fight. But that's like, who gives a shit?
Doesn't make any difference.
It was, I do... The reason I'm a typical Conor fan, and I'm just gonna cling to some stuff, right? So I'm gonna cling to the Chad Mendes fight and be like, he's come out and he's looked like that in the first round, and he's come out the other side of it. The way that punch still didn't look bad. It wasn't. There was still like some power on that punch. It wasn't a ton of pop.
No,
maybe,
he still had
like,
he still had the fight left in him, man. But when
he got overwhelmed in the. It was a bad first round, and we're not doing an MMA show here, right? So we don't have to bore people to death. I will say, from a dramatic standpoint, it was quite the fucking night of MMA. I mean,
everybody's talking about
the
it.
Connor stuff. The Tai Tuivasa Bam Bam came out as a fucking celebrity. So that was awesome to see that guy like become the new Mark Hunt almost.
No, it was awesome to see him become the new Mark Hunt. What wasn't awesome was seeing the many different variations of shoeys that he was doing
afterwards. The dickhead who tricked him with the Dustin Poirier
hot
sauce is brutal, man.
Asshole, dude.
And then you had like Sean O'Malley putting on another star-worthy, like star-making performance. Not necessarily making himself a star, but making the guy he fought into a legend.
Yeah, Chris Moutinho got a lot of fans.
Yeah,
but like you said, man. Not an MMA podcast, but we did want to talk about the elephant in the room, if you will. It was a tough weekend for Connor, but we're still riding strong, dude. I think it's safe to say we're looking forward to seeing him come back. But one thing that we are going strong for, Len, Loki, right?
We're still high key about Loki.
I would say I'm low-key feeling Loki right now.
High key would have been more complimentary. So I guess, are you like kind of, you don't want people to know about it?
No. Because right now, when people get a chance to listen to this, the final episode will be out.
That is correct.
Right?
That is correct.
So if I want to get away from spoilers for now, we'll probably jump at some spoilers
I think
in a second.
We've said from the beginning now, fuck them with the spoilers.
No.
That shit happened
but the
6
statement
days
I
ago,
want to
right?
make is I'm feeling low-key really high on Loki because it really does kind of deliver things that you really didn't think you needed.
Mm-hmm.
As far as storylines, characters that you're introduced to.
It's a fun romp, Matt.
So we are going to jump into the spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Man, that episode, what did you think of the ending?
Why get to the ending first? Right?
I know, but the ending was so awesome.
So, I want to focus, I'm always in awe of, like, the visuals, like, of this series in particular has felt a little bit different. I feel like I like some of the darker tones to the worlds that we've been in with this one, while kind of having, you've got kind of a grim outlook. But this, Tom Hiddleston's done a really good job of, through the grimness of some of it, he's able to show you that hope and the positivity shining through.
Yeah.
And, it's just, man, all the characters are great. I'm pumped Owen Wilson's back.
Oh,
dude.
That
was awesome.
To know that Owen's pruning wasn't final was great.
And then introducing a million Lokis, I think, was more than what we could have asked, right?
And that's what I mean by not knowing that you needed it, because when episode 4 ends and you're left with the sight of these... what I thought were 3 Lokis. I didn't notice the alligator right away. Then you see these 4 different Lokis, and you're like, okay, what's this about? And to your point, man, the same way they give you an amazing visual, there's always this sense of shit's about to go down, right? And when this episode kicks off, they don't really want to explain what's going on. And that's why I laughed. You mentioned Loki being so positive and kind of, very cheerful in all this. There is a moment where he just snaps.
Yeah.
And he's like... somebody tell me what's going on right now. And you're like, okay. It was just so out of character for him in this particular series, but it was really interesting.
He's able to make you feel like all of the different emotions he's going through as he's I love just having to, there's an alligator. You're just going to have to deal with it.
It's better if we don't ask.
Yeah. If we become okay with it immediately, we're just better off because this is fucking crazy. Sylvie. Yep. Her part of it. Did you almost get convinced for a second that what's
Ravonna?
her name? Yeah, her
Ravonna,
again.
yeah.
That she was gonna go good, or that she was not necessarily gonna go good, but she was looking out for her own interest.
No, something about this woman just is off with me.
I felt like she was eventually gonna turn on her the whole time.
Yeah, I didn't think, and it almost felt like her entire dialogue was just buying time, right? But it's more so interesting to me now. She's trying to get to the bottom of this hoax, if you will, of the timekeepers, the same way that they are, but for a different reason. It almost seems like she wants to kind of cut the head off the snake so that she can become the new head.
That's a dangerous proposition. And who knows? I like also the idea of the monster that they're fighting is basically just the dog from the Sandlot.
Goliath.
Yeah. Which I think was named Goliath.
No. That's interesting, actually.
Yeah.
No, wasn't it Zeus?
Yeah, you're right. Fuck.
Or
Another
Hercules. Hercules.
god. All gods.
One of those,
right?
anyway.
Still, he's a demigod.
But
then. Fuck.
yeah, fuck that. Anyway, but no, man, like this overwhelming sense of like this is where time ends. Anything that's been pruned or destroyed in the timeline, this is where it goes.
It also reminds me of Toy Story 3.
Oh, where all toys go to die.
Yeah, like it's basically that conveyor belt that they get put on at the end of Toy Story 3 that they have to fight off of.
That's a heavy scene.
Is where that it's pretty. You know, they were supposed to die.
Oh, I mean that's
like so. Like originally when that was wrote, they filmed the initial. Excuse me, fucking damn. The
excited.
ending was that they were all gonna die, and they played that for people, and they were like, well, that's fucking dark.
Oh, this sucks.
And they were like, yeah, no, we probably should have them get out alive.
So bring in the Eagles.
Yeah.
Pretty much Lord of the Rings.
So chances are with this, I mean, you did have one unfortunate, it seems, death, right? We had the old Loki.
Yeah, and you know what?
Going on like a G.
That's the scene that I'm talking about when you talk about, like, it's they almost foreshadow it when he says, you know, I don't like the idea of using knives because they cheapen our magic or something like that. Like, you don't know what we're capable of.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just creating this colossal
world.
Like,
like
it
city.
looked like Asgard, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like he's recreating Asgard. And I'm so lost in it that I'm like, wait, what's the point of this? But then you remember that Loki says, the dog is always going to chase the biggest meal, right? So it takes the heat off of them and buys them some time. And they're ultimately able to charm this damn monster, dude.
Because again, she's like, you don't know how powerful we are. He's
Yeah.
like, I can't do it. It's like, no, you can.
You can.
The power of love compels you.
The power of Christ compels you, dude.
This is still just a glorified like love story though. It's kind of funny. Because you've got like Selvi could save herself.
Yeah.
Like, why am I all of a sudden?
I don't know,
calling her
dude.
that?
You just
Who's who's a Selvi? Is there any Selvies
no,
that
I
I
don't
know of?
Selvies, dude.
No, we don't know any
There's
Selvies.
Barristan Selmy from Game of Thrones.
Nope,
Okay.
definitely wasn't that.
So hop off that train and call it Sylvie.
Yeah,
There we
I'll
go.
try my best, guys.
Nailed
Sorry
it.
about that.
You're good.
Yeah, but so she's just like, we're gonna go back, blast to the past. You know, I'm going in there. I'm gonna go find myself, basically, because I'm just in love with me, and we're gonna do it. And then she runs into again Mobius, who's apparently also in love with Loki. We find out, which is pretty. I love that little scene at the end. You know.
Yeah, like I've got. How did she say it? She's like, I'm pretty sure he cares for you. And at that point, I'm like, man, Loki's the belle of the ball right now. Everybody's trying to get down with Loki, but he has his moment. The moment where he finally kind of makes his move, and it all's for nothing. Kind of make me sad.
Loki making his move.
Yeah.
No, but dude, I mean, it's a tough bridge to cross, I imagine, to fuck yourself, right?
Well, first you have to love yourself.
Yeah, and so like he does the most romantic thing possible. Like he gets her a blanket. You know, that's pretty dope.
What do you think of her complaining about the material though?
Well,
I
mean, okay, Matt. I thought about this actually during that scene. If you could conjure me any blanket, and you conjure me this like uncomfortable ass like
curtain?
Small,
look like a curtain.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be kind of upset too. You could have got me like some Uggs material.
Yeah, I don't know. He.
I want like a Sherpa, like or what? Like is it a shirt? Do they? You know what I'm talking about?
A snuggly.
A snuggly. I think it's a snuggie.
Snuggie, yeah.
No, is a Sherpa the one who gets the dog? Goes with the dog to get the goats?
I couldn't even tell you, dude.
We're
You're thinking of a shepherd.
We're in a land that we don't belong in.
If you know materials, hit us in the chat because we'd like to know what the
I want a
ideal
bearskin
blanket is
rug.
made out of.
Let me know where to find one.
Persian skin rug.
No, is that a person? Like Persian people?
No. It's like a cat.
Oh, that seems.
It's like a real soft cat.
No, dude, those are like house cats, Matt.
All right, man.
That's fucked
well,
up.
I digress. Probably shouldn't be doing that.
But
why
are you talking about killing house cats?
No, I don't. I didn't talk about killing. It was a weird rabbit hole we gone down. No, I'm trying to get us back on track, dude. Because
the blanket wasn't big enough.
The blanket wasn't big enough. He makes his move.
And why isn't he going with like the dual snuggie, where like they can both get cozy up in there? And then they should have had a scene where he like lifts it up over their heads, so you don't know what's going on under there.
But I think that's the kind of the key to the whole episode is he doesn't really believe in himself enough. So maybe that's why he hasn't
super
made a move.
relatable. Huh?
And she kind of helps him cross that bridge, right? And the bridge ends up leading them to. How would you describe this other world that they've like this little house on the prairie that they found?
I can't.
No?
No.
Okay. Easy enough.
Blanking.
Okay.
I don't remember it.
All right. So let's just say the episode ends there.
What can you describe it for me? Maybe I'll remember. I'm closing my
So
eyes.
it's another like dark area, if I'm not mistaken.
I
And
remember
it's kinda,
I remember the clouds parting.
Yeah, the clouds part. And
And
it's
there's like a mansion. It reminds me of like the it's like if you've been playing the
Haunted Mansion?
Well, so yes. Or I was gonna say like Resident Evil Village. I feel like that's like one of the mansions you have to walk. I only played like 15 minutes of the game that I was really excited about, but I do remember in that 15 minutes that was one of the houses I think I walked up to.
Yeah, so there's this gigantic stronghold where I guess this is where the timekeeper is.
Can you think of any other? I'm gonna put us in a rabbit hole again. Can you think of any other houses in movies that are I'm trying to think of some other ones. So
The
the
house
in
from Tomb Raider,
I
the
don't remember
gigantic
that.
mansion.
No, it doesn't like it because it's
like
not
a
as
castle.
it's not as deserted though. Like this
No,
one
you're
gave me
right.
some like I was thinking like it in the house in It One.
Ooh.
Kind of reminded me a little bit of it.
House on Haunted Hill.
No, because
No, I don't even know.
I mean I
that.
understand where you would kind of like pull that one from. I'm gonna workshop this.
Okay, maybe that's something we release later.
Mobius is going back to rip hell through the TVA.
Oh yeah,
That's pretty thug.
He's gonna be a whistleblower.
Do they not have like guns though in this? Like they only have those little wands.
I've asked myself if those wands can shoot things.
Well, because wouldn't you imagine at some point if the TVA's been around for as long as I think it's been around,
Yeah.
right?
Since the beginning of time, technically.
It'd be like it would make sense to be able to shoot that thing that sends them to the to purgatory there.
Well,
right?
yeah, that's just the pruning device, right?
Yeah,
the little
yeah,
bomb that they
Like
have.
you should shoot that.
Yeah, well, that's why I was wondering if the pruning stick or the prod
Would shoot. Yeah.
would shoot. I think
should
it
have a
does.
little button on it.
That makes sense.
But
Well,
why
remember,
we
she,
haven't seen them shoot
remember
it?
she twists it to activate it. So
You
maybe
think it's like a twisted
maybe
pop
if you
it, spin
maybe
it.
if you double pump,
Oh.
boom, and you just let that shit loose, dude.
Oh, see, the problem, Matt, is like you know how buckshots have too wide of a spray. You'd probably end
Yeah.
up taking people you don't want to take.
No, so it wouldn't be a buckshot though. It'd be no, you're thinking birdshot, right?
No, I feel like I'm thinking of buckshot.
Okay, either way,
I think shotguns in general just like they spray
they spray.
bullets out.
Okay. Well, technically, you'd want to catch as much of the area to prune it anyway, right?
Well, what if there's like a scenario where, cooler idea. You should be able to change like the shooting modes. You know, because like I don't want to like accidentally like shoot one of the people I
Yeah,
want to keep
no,
alive,
that makes
not getting
sense.
pruned. So like I need to have a wide array shot or a net. What if it shot a net and anything that was under the net got pruned?
I feel like we're definitely applying to the R&D department at this
For
point
the
because
TVA.
I feel like we have better ideas than the
Yeah,
TVA
when
does.
Mobius recreates the TVA, where
Because
I
are they
wanna
only
jump.
fight in close combat and you're just beating the shit out of somebody with a stick?
Well, and it's like, yeah, those. I don't think any of them are good enough fighters with it either.
I don't know, dude. B-15, she was a badass.
I don't know how you remember all these names.
I only
They're
remember
not even
the main
names;
ones.
they're just like numbers.
Well, so we get to see her. She's locked up in a cell.
oh, good
and
point.
Ravona's like, "Why'd you do it?" He's like,
I saw the light.
"You know why I did it." And it was just very like back and forth. You know what I know, and you don't want me to know what I think you know. And then it's like, all right, well, I'm leaving. And that's why I was just very suspicious of Ravona. It's like, I don't know what dog she has to play in this one.
Yeah.
You know?
What
It's very
dog she has
confusing.
in the fight, I think, is what you were
You know what I mean, dude.
looking for.
I'm not good at
again,
sayings.
we're gonna get you a sayings book. Okay, last thing. Is there any big predictions you have for the finale for what we're gonna get tomorrow on Wednesday?
Yeah. For me, we finally find out who this timekeeper is, and it will then somehow tie into the Doctor Strange WandaVision fiasco that is or will be our multiverse.
The grander picture.
Yes. Because we
so
got
you
to
think
see
we're gonna see who's pulling the strings?
we got to see like 20 Lokis, right? Then that means that they've been muddling around
in a lot of universes.
all of these different timelines, messing with branches, keeping branches from expanding, all this different stuff, which would lead me to believe that there has to be somebody who can control every branch of time.
So here's the concern I have going forward, Matt. Actually, like now that I'm thinking about it, is Doctor Strange going to be a little bit too much of like a I don't know how best to explain it, like a pass-through movie to get to like Spider-Man?
I hope not.
I guess I say so because like it really seems like it's all setting up Spider-Verse, right, to happen maybe. But is that like maybe you can do two separate things here? But to your point, if you're jumping in, I imagine you're going to start seeing what's happening in all these other timelines come Doctor Strange. And if you're setting that up, aren't the main like the biggest star in the Avengers, I would say that's left now is Spider-Man, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's definitely the most
Now you don't have
most
Cap
marketable.
or
Yeah.
So I just am worried that because Doctor Strange is not a main player, at least in terms of I think big marketing like scenarios, that it's going to be a pass-through movie just to get us to the Spider-Verse.
You say that, but I think Doctor Strange will play a larger part in the grand scheme of things when it comes to really understanding how these worlds are coming together and how we're going to keep it from going like crazy.
Yeah,
right?
It's just you're going to be getting a lot of different characters included in that movie.
I don't disagree with you. I think we'll be pleasantly surprised.
I'm not saying, and I don't mean to say like I think it's going to be bad. I just hope that it's not a movie that's, even looking at like Black Widow and the response to that, it's just like a lot of times with Marvel fans, if it doesn't do this massive thing that like start to finish is complex and like opens up new storylines but closes old ones. If this is just creating a bunch of questions that we don't get answers to until we get another movie.
and I think that's Steve had mentioned on our last episode, how as fans we need to stop worrying about if things are canon, right? In this scenario, things have to be canon, just with the way that you've put them together, right? So I don't feel like you can use Doctor Strange as a throwaway. I feel like Black Widow is a very large victim of the pandemic. Like, that movie not being able to be released on schedule didn't do it a service. But unfortunately, Disney was like, all right, we've got the product. It needs to be put out. Let's get it out there. Unfortunately, it doesn't tie up any loose ends with the overall story. I don't think they can do that going forward with any of the bigger projects.
Black Widow also made about $150 million, I think, in total.
Really?
Made 80 in the movies and like 60 at home or 65 at home, something like that.
That's not bad.
It's pretty freaking good,
right?
Actually.
That's actually really good.
Yeah,
okay. Interesting. So, I mean, my hope is that it does all tie together, and hopefully, rather than it being something where we need another show to get us through it or to get us across the finish line, I hope it just automatically opens everything up for us.
Cool.
What about you?
I'm going to echo your sentiments. I think I'm looking forward to seeing what you're talking about, who is behind all of this. I want to see where it's kind of leading us in the larger picture here, because there is a lot of ramifications that we're getting and a ton of questions that have been set and posed from this. And I'm also just kind of, I found myself wondering, like, are we going to see Owen Wilson like 5 years from now pop up in another Marvel property because he's now still alive and going back to his normal timeline?
I better see him on his jet ski.
Is Tom Hiddleston now set up to like what kind of role is he going to play going forward? Where does this end of this series leave his character?
That's interesting.
In terms of the grand scheme of things. So yeah, I think there's a lot of really cool questions and characters that you're going to have some other storylines that we can progress to, and I'm really excited. I think this show's done a good job of keeping me interested. How about we move along to your favorite show ever on TV I've ever heard about, The Bad Batch.
I thought you did a great job kind of leading into that when you said keeping me interested. Steve and I had a conversation here where we talked about where The Bad Batch is going and how it can ultimately finish. Yeah, at length we talked about it, right? It was a long one.
It was riveting, though. Great stuff.
I appreciate that, buddy.
Yeah, top notch.
I felt really good in knowing that, he shared my sentiments because, a lot of the times I do feel like because we're watching shows in a different light, because we're doing this, we're having these type of conversations, if I was being too hard on it. And before he left the studio, was like, let me know when you watch The Bad Batch because I think you're gonna be disappointed, right? And he made the joke of the Bad Batch being in the episode for about 5 seconds. And man, was he spot on. I timed it to the beat, and it was interesting, the storyline that they tried to tell you, but it also had nothing to do with the plot.
But okay, this is what I was talking to you about though. Like, that's very Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Like they do a lot of episodes like that. Oh, shut up, Siri.
Bitch. No, man. So while I can understand that, there has to be almost like a pattern to it, right?
Male pattern baldness.
Sure. I'm getting baldness from the show, to be honest with you.
You're ripping your hair out?
Yeah, because at this point, man, I don't want to be right about this show that it's going to be something that starts off promising, and because of its potential, we're just not really getting the fruits of the
Dude,
labor.
I told you, I think that you guys just all need to hunker in because it's realistically, I just think you're in it for the long haul. And I do think by the end of 50 episodes, when we get like some like finale, some culmination of everything, you guys are all going to look back on this very fondly because you'll have the grand picture rather than like the small sample.
Yeah, man, I feel like
I feel like people weren't positive on the Clone Wars like the whole time it was happening.
No, I know, but it's to Steve's point, and I feel like I'm going to be quoting him throughout this last 2 minutes of my segment. When we're looking at a story that's following this group of people, and we're just getting the bits of information that are making this group really make sense as far as how they're going to be a team and what their missions are.
Mm-hmm.
And rather than continuing that pattern, or at least drawing a parallel with the people who are chasing them, you show us storylines that for the most part are just kind of letting us know that other things are happening that have nothing to do with the Bad Batch.
Mm-hmm.
So with this past episode, spoiler 3, 2, 1, you're put on this planet called Ryloth, and they basically have to rise up against the clones to overthrow the Empire because the Empire occupied them. The Bad Batch show up for 5 seconds to deliver weapons to the rebels. Omega makes friends with one of the little girl aliens from Ryloth, then they leave. And then the rebels fight the clones. They end up getting tricked into assassinating their own governor. End of storyline. Has nothing to do with what the Bad Batch are going to be doing about Omega's recent findings, or...
Do you know more about whoever now, though? Like Omega, whoever the character was.
No, not really.
Terrible
No.
names.
So we didn't get any character progression, and all we got was now we know what Crosshair and his gang of goons have been doing, and they've just been assassinating, like, world leaders.
That guy's a real douche.
Yeah, not a good guy, man.
I've not liked anything I've heard about him.
No, dude, when you talk
Thumbs
about
down.
your all-around bad dude, he's it, man.
That's
Like,
him.
he epitomizes evil, and it's like, all right, I'd like to see this guy get dealt with, but we haven't seen any of that. So I'm still optimistic. I think we're about 11 episodes in.
We got 5 left.
We've got 5 left because we're going to 16. I'd just like to see where this is going and how this sets up for a season 2, if there's going to be a season 2.
I feel like the season finale, man, is going to be a fucking barn burner.
Well, I don't really take anything you say to heart.
No, but as a person who's quite passionate about predictions,
Do you want to make a wager?
yeah,
Do you want to make it super interesting?
we'll bet another bag of your lifesavers,
Yeah,
dude.
we'll bet.
Fat bag
We'll
of
bet
lifesavers.
a $5 bag of gummy savers.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Season finale. Probably.
I'm gonna go to like Staples and buy those like huge bags that they put on desks and shit.
You're trying to
dude.
give me diabetes.
Yeah,
That's not cool, man.
Yeah, it's
My wife's gonna have something to say to you about that.
yeah. Here's a syringe or two.
But here we are again, man. Another episode of the Bad Batch. My hands are up in arms.
yeah, dude. The least happy Star Wars fan of all the Star Wars fans in the Star Wars land.
But let me know if I'm crazy.
You are.
Clearly, I've got something against the Bad Batch right now. I'm trying to be optimistic. Let us know in the comments what you think.
the batch.
Is it worth the squeeze?
Hey, Matt.
Yeah, Len?
You want to talk about the environment?
I love talking about the environment.
Yeah, man. I want a reoccurring segment. Matt and Lenny talk about the environment.
We got to shorten that, but I like it.
It rolls off the tongue.
It's a long roll, dude. But yeah, what's gonna be our environment chat of the day?
So, dude, you know how we were talking about like the water and how we don't give a shit about the oceans?
As human beings, that we don't give a shit.
Yeah,
about.
like
You and I
not
love
me,
the
those
ocean.
two big ocean guys. Me
Yeah,
and
you and I love the ocean.
Yeah, Shark Week. This week or next week?
I think it's this week.
Fuck.
Yeah, I'm
They've-
behind.
They've kind of ruined that.
Well, no, dude, there's no advertisement around it. Remember, like back in the day, they used to let you know like 6 weeks in
Well,
advance.
Matt, they ran out of ideas when they had Mike Tyson fight the fucking shark.
Well, no, they ran out of ideas when they had Michael Phelps race a shark, and then
That wasn't a real
they honey
shark.
dicked you, and it wasn't a real shark.
They made you wait an hour for that.
Yeah. They're
Yeah,
like, all right, well, we did a computer enhancement.
Fuck
Assholes.
Shark Week these days. 'Cause I think a lot of it's repeats too. I feel like you're not getting a ton of like new
No,
content for
their
Shark
new
Week.
thing is they just buy whatever new cameras are out that year, and they just shoot it in that camera, and they're like, in scorching 8.5K.
And they also
What?
just like hire whatever celebrities they can find to like do dives with sharks,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I mean, I want to do a dive, but I don't really care enough to watch a whole week of it. And it's a little grim to only watch like the shark attacks, probably.
Well, some of their best ones were the stories where they were doing shark attacks, and then the ones where they were really deep, diving deep. There we go. into Megalodon.
Yeah, which that's always something I love hearing about.
Love hearing
the
about
biggest shark, dude. I'm into that.
Why do you think they're not around now?
Oh, well,
Global warming?
we want to go this whole. Yeah, I mean that's a large.
Well,
part
I
of
just
it.
wanted you to say global warming,
Yeah,
and then you could go on with our next topic.
Well, not necessarily where I was going to go with this. Did you know that the moon, Matt, is going to be having a little wobble sesh coming up?
Like a shindig?
So apparently, like every 10 years or so, the moon might wobble a little bit, and it like.
What do you mean? Like it'll wobble,
like,
but it won't fall down?
Yeah, like so it kind of messes with the its rotation a bit, which then
messes with the ocean,
which messes with tides in the ocean. So I want people to know that they're predicting that we're gonna have like major flooding like records set in the next 10 years, and they said especially look out for the 2030s because shit's about to get wild. And I just want to point out that I told you all a week ago to watch out.
You did say that.
Watch out.
When we told you
when
that
tides come a calling.
When the ocean
Right
catches on fire, you know shit's about to go down.
Oh, dude, that was a sign.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's a total sign. Talking about like Kings of Summer, dude. Like we got to the edge of the woods and we were looking for a sign, Matt. I saw the sign. I saw the sign. It opened up my eyes and I saw the sign, dude.
You saw the sign.
Yes.
Jesus.
So I want the coastal cities in like California, Seattle, all you motherfuckers,
the Cape,
get prepared.
Yeah,
I think the West Coast is in far dire straits than we are. They're like the coast with global warming. They have projections that like Nevada is going to be the coast at some point.
The biggest issue I find with like the West Coast is if shit goes down on the West Coast and you guys get submerged. California has some of the biggest great white sharks the world has ever seen. I don't think you want that problem.
They're just gonna roll up on.
That's all I'm saying, dude. They've been eating Cape Fur seals off the coast for years.
So, dude, this is like you remember Deep Blue Sea,
vividly,
and like the sharks just kind of like swimming around them while they're doing.
It's
shit.
also going through doors.
Also, the movie The Reef, not The Reef. Sorry,
The Reef is with Blake Lively.
No, is that the one?
That is The Reef.
I don't think that's The Reef.
Yeah.
That's The Shallows.
That's The Shallows. Yeah,
that's
sorry.
The Reef is a different one. It's an Australian movie, but there's another Australian shark movie. They make the best shark movies.
They have the best sharks.
And there's basically a flood, a tsunami that causes. And
there's Sharknado?
No, there's a tsunami, and they're in an underwater or an underground like shopping plaza. Like you have to go down into the ground for it.
Okay.
And it floods because of the tsunami, and sharks get washed into the building. See, it's in my Voodoo account. But either way, like that type of scenario, imagine you're walking through the streets of like Compton, like dudes are walking through Compton and sharks
you gotta
just like
shoot a shark, dude?
swimming around you.
That's a different type of drive-by, if you know what I mean.
Like the hood just has a whole new spin on it.
Oh,
it's like
dude.
Jason Goes to New York.
Or a Leprechaun in the Hood.
Both.
To be a little bit more like closer to home. But no, man, I think, when we're talking about like giant waves hitting the West Coast, that's a scary thing because we've seen some shit go down in Asia recently with like tides and tsunamis, and it's like you don't want to see that shit happen over here, because how long does the West Coast hold out before it just goes completely under, like in 2012?
It's not too far away, apparently. Like I said, the 2030s, and I think another part of like karma, karma's not a bitch, she's a mirror. Quote Dustin Poirier.
Too soon.
But like they're now, or I've seen the documentaries. Have you seen the ones about like them killing sharks in
for shark fin soup?
Yeah, exactly. Or just they sell the chips. If you go to they have they're like chip versions of shark fins or some shit that they sell in Japan.
They have like a million documentaries.
So basically,
right
but they cut their fins off and they just throw them back into the ocean. They're alive. They get killed. I just think it'd be really apropos to have like a scenario where the sharks now come to our territory. It's similar to like the episode of The Simpsons, I think, where the dolphins grow feet and they just come back up onto the shore and start beating the shit out of humans. I think that needs to happen probably.
I mean, it would be the kick in the ass that we need to stop destroying the ocean, pretty much. Have you heard that all the global warming stuff is like, not that it's BS, but it's like you guys are so focused on global warming that you haven't stopped fishing. Like the amount of overfishing that happens is the reason why our waters are fucking dying.
Yeah.
But again, it's
abuse on the ocean.
It's all in those documentaries.
Dude, the ocean is the most out of sight, out of mind thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, because everybody's so afraid to go underneath it that we don't really have to know the problems. It's like under your bed.
I mean, depending on, you probably want to get under your bed.
Not everybody, dude. A lot of people keep skeletons under there, bro.
No, that's your closet. Okay. All right. Well, before we jump into Shark Week next week, which we clearly will, we took in some trailers, Len.
Not much this week, but we scrounged the bottom of the barrel. We found a couple things to watch. Panda.
By the bottom of the barrel, he means Netflix.
Red Panda.
No, we're not doing that one, dude.
No?
No, I've already told you.
I just had one question about Red Panda.
It's not Red Panda.
I have one question about Red Panda.
It's turning into red.
Red Panda.
Okay.
Is it in the same universe as Clifford?
No, I don't think
that was my only question.
No.
Well, it's just another big animal, so...
Yeah, but she's a human.
We don't know about Clifford.
No, Clifford was a dog, dude. And she made a wish, and it came true and made him a bigger dog.
But what if there was a wish before that wish that we didn't see where he was a person?
What if Clifford the big red dog and the big red panda... Red Panda, Curious George, they're all part of the Ted universe.
Oh, another idea. What if we made like a superhero team out of them?
That'd be dope.
Like we got a super team up movie?
I feel like Ted would be like Batman.
Well, yeah, I don't know if you have to make him Batman as much as he could just be his own superhero.
Ted Man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, he has a cool bandana over his eyes. Yeah,
and he swings Sweet Caroline while he's kicking people's ass. I need to pitch this movie.
He'd probably be more Deadpool when you really get down to it.
Yeah, he would need a rated R movie, I think, right?
I actually like the idea. Let's figure out how to write it. It probably works as a comic book too.
Yeah, what we do is we write the comic and then we pitch the live action movie. If there's anybody who's a good
artist out there, dude, we got ideas.
Yeah, let us know. Hit us in the chat and let us know if you can get down with all of this.
And if we're missing any fuzzy characters that could be part of a gang that go around and stop crime vigilante style.
We're at like 4 or 5 already. What do you think the limit is?
How big's the Justice League?
Oh, it's like 20 deep, dude.
Yeah, okay, we're good.
All right.
We can keep going.
Big round table. But no, we did scrounge the bottom of the barrel, and we found a Jason Momoa movie on Netflix.
The Momoa man.
Called My Sweet Girl? The Sweet Girl?
The Sweetest Girl.
Sweet Girl.
Sweetest Touch.
What'd you think of the trailer?
It was alright.
Wasn't bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's like... Jason Momoa is the king now of putting movies or like expensive stuff on streaming, because you loved his show on Apple, right?
C?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it The Sea?
No, it's just C.
And
it's
is
like
it
C.
S-E-A?
No, S-E-E.
It's about the ocean.
It's about your vision.
He
It's
couldn't
not about
see.
the ocean. None of them could see.
He couldn't though?
No.
He wasn't the only one who
No,
had eyes?
you could fight, dude. It's like a Daredevil thing. Like you can't see, but you're so used to not seeing
Was
that
it
you can...
good?
It's a decent show. The storyline gets kind of shitty towards the end. They're releasing season 2, so I'm hoping that it actually gets better.
Wow.
Shout out to TV Plus. Hopefully that's a good one.
Yeah, he just seems like he's now branched off into being a big streaming guy.
Yeah, it almost seems like because I think Amazon has a show with him as well, but it almost seems like every subscription service is like, hey, did you do a Jason Momoa show yet? Let's line one of those up. And HBO had it first.
Like, are you a big? You're a Momoa knight, right?
If you're asking, would I share a hot tub with him? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm also asking, would you put like a poster of him on your wall? Trick question. I know you have a poster of him on your wall.
I was gonna say, are you asking me if I'd put another one on my wall? Because yes, I would, if I could find one that's big enough for the ceiling.
He's a large man. Imagine trying to buy a poster of The Rock, dude. You'd never be able to fit one on your wall.
No, I'm all set with that, man. He's too veiny.
Did you know he's 49?
Yeah, I know he's old.
I had this moment last night, dude, where I was like, fuck, like, you age so much different when you're rich.
Yeah. Well, it's because you're on all the good stuff.
Well, he's on the best. He's been on the best stuff.
You're on the best supplements
for like 30
ever.
years now.
Yeah. And it's
like
also...
Vince knows a guy.
This is why I've always said, like, in order for me to eat healthy, I need to be rich. Because if I have to make the healthy food, I'm not going to enjoy it, right? But if you give me a chef who can make that food for me and be like, here, so it's 6:30 p.m.
I'm going to smack that bitch on the ass and call her Sally.
Your meals are... I think that's sexist. You can have a male chef, too.
I'm going to smack that bitch on the ass and call him John Sally.
Okay, that actually makes sense. Because John Sally's a real person.
That worked.
I dig that. But no, yeah, you give me healthy food. I think I could do it. But that's why I'm okay with Jason Momoa, because Jason Momoa looks like a natural sexy, whereas like The Rock, naturally fit Whereas The Rock, like, you can tell he's on all the Mexican supplements.
Dude, no, I think you can get those extra muscles naturally, dude. You just have to really have all the time in the world to work out, not do movies, have kids.
So,
like, dude, think about the fact that The Rock. This is the other thing. Rich people pay for extra days in the year. Like we have 365. Rich people have like 390. You know what I mean?
Figure that.
Like, I just feel like they somehow add hours to days because, like, how can you have one child, Matt?
No, I know.
Maybe. And allegedly.
Allegedly.
And like, I'm sure that, like, it feels like there's not enough time in the day to just, like, right? This man is able to have, like, 9 companies, star in a movie every month.
Honey, it's called a private jet.
Sure, Matt.
Dude,
no, there's a scheme. There's something going on.
No,
I'm just saying, dude, there's something going on that we don't know about.
He also wakes up at like 4 o'clock in the morning and goes to bed at like 1. So like, I don't think any of it is healthy.
Should we work on mastering the power nap?
I think so. Yeah. But when are we going to find the time of the day to take a nap?
Well, because that's a skill in itself, dude.
Yeah.
Like, how would
you have to train your body to just shut down.
Okay, so like, what if, like, when you're at work, you, instead of taking one 30-minute break, you took 31-minute breaks?
You just broke my mind just now. Because I'm trying to think to myself.
Like, is that good?
Is that more time? I know it's not.
But it feels good. Like, if I could have 30 times during my workday where I could just step aside and be like, I need a breath. I need a breath, man.
I don't think that registered to me.
It's
what 31-minute breaks look like.
It's like how they establish those rooms now in colleges where you can just go into a room of pillows and like cry.
Oh, like the Google headquarters.
Yeah,
where you have
dude.
the sleep pods.
Well, dude, imagine if they had done that at Apple, dude, instead of having people jump off fucking roofs.
Sorry, dude. Oh god, we're on a roll right now, man. Promote a safe and healthy work environment.
No shit, dude. Give me 31-minute breaks.
We're gonna get pulled off a podcast because of that. Oh man, but no, dude. It's like it makes sense. Like it doesn't not make sense. 31-minute breaks. I'm just struggling with how I would ration those out throughout the day.
Well, that's a whole other talent, dude. Like, do you pre-plan your 30 minutes? Yeah.
Because maybe that's what he's doing, and it makes the day longer.
Oh, dude, I imagine he gets an hour break because he's working from 4 a.m. till fucking 10 p.m.
That's insane. But to my point, dude, he has a jet where like it takes you and I like an hour to drive to a different state. Something like that, 3 hours to get to a different... Dude, he can get to it anywhere he wants to in 20 minutes.
And what are the rules? Okay, like, how far in advance do you have to tell somebody you're going to be flying to their, like, airstrip? You don't?
Bro.
You just show up?
I don't... Pablo Escobar was doing it for years, dude.
Because isn't that crazy, too? Like it's like they still have to land at an airport. So how do you know that somebody else isn't landing at that airport at that time?
But this is where it's not... Like, he's not landing at an international airport.
No, but...
He's landing in, like, Van Nuys... Like
they do have smaller airstrips.
Yeah,
I understand that, but they also, some of them still land at major airstrips too.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you though, but it's like if I have a private jet and I have a pilot who I pay, it's like, dude, get me into the best possible landing spot where I'm not going to be stuck in traffic. You're not going to go to LAX or freaking Logan International Airport, you psycho.
Is this too soon? Just let me know if it is. Like, so if you had the choice between a private jet or a helicopter to get to and from where you... Okay.
Private jet, not even close, dude.
It's not close?
Dude, I proposed on a helicopter. Until this day, I'm still happy that I made it. You know what I mean?
That was like the most traumatic experience, yet the best experience.
Bro, that would have been the ultimate sign of like, hey, this isn't going to work. And you just go down, dude. That's awful.
I went on a helicopter once when I was like really young, I believe. And that's the only... Like, I mean, I don't have really big memories of it.
Okay. Sweet.
I was pretty young. I think I would do it again, though. I honestly, I think it'd be cooler, Matt, hopping in a helicopter and then landing on like a rooftop somewhere rather than going to like an airstrip.
Then you gotta wait for an elevator.
Okay.
That's a That's the stuff I'm just not willing to
Fuck.
take. Dude, it's like you got out of a helicopter, survived, now you're going into this
I
elevator.
also say that, but like at the same time, I don't know if I can go to the top of a really tall building.
Have you been in a helicopter?
Yeah, I just said.
Okay, yeah, sorry. I know. I remember you saying.
You were here. I say that, but I think I'd get anxiety like on the top floor of a really, really tall building.
Yeah, like I don't.
So-
the air is different up there, dude.
Like, have you ever gone to the top of the Empire State Building?
Yes.
And was that really scary?
Yes, I'm afraid of heights. So everything above, like.
Because I don't know if I'd go outside there.
Well, it used to be different back then. They used to have like a area where you can you put the little coins in,
Yeah.
and you get the little viewfinder.
Mm-hmm. Too many people were throwing the coins off the side of the.
Yeah, I don't think that really kills people. I think they did a MythBusters thing on that, and it wasn't real.
I would really fucking hurt though.
I would imagine.
You'd probably get a little indent. In
Yeah,
your
like
head.
if you got a nickel, dude, forget it. Like you probably are killing
Forget
somebody if you
about
drop a. I just did that, didn't I?
Yeah.
This is why we get to get back to the trailers.
We
dude.
clearly didn't give a shit about this trailer, really. It's okay. We like the girl in it, who I don't remember her name.
Boom. That's why you got me, baby.
Isabella Mersad.
Well, yeah. The reason why this trailer stood out to us, obviously Jason Momoa. I'm interested.
He's naturally sexy, as Matt said.
Isabella Merced was in Instant Family.
Yep.
She
A
played
real
Dora the Explorer.
Loving movie, not Dora. I'm not into that.
No, I'm not into that either, but that's what you could know her from. Not you and I, but whoever's watching this.
Dora was how you learned how to speak Spanish, no?
The animated series.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thought so.
I mean, why would I pay for Rosetta Stone?
Yeah, when you have Dora.
When you have Dora the Explorer. Dude, I know how to say the map at least 4 different times
What
in the
was
same
her?
language.
Swiper. You can't swipe.
No, Swiper, no swiping. Then you got Boots, who's her best friend. You're my Boots, dude.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet, dude. I don't know if that's a good
Yeah, that might be insensitive.
thing.
But
Yeah, it's free. We'll watch it.
we'll watch it. We can get down
cool.
with that.
Justin Bartha, also a cool character. But let's move on. We'll spend 2 minutes here. Infinite Darkness. Did you get a chance to watch any of it?
I watched 2.5 episodes, Len.
We're so alike. It's crazy. I watched 2 episodes and none of a half.
Awesome.
So,
There we go. I got you beat.
as a person who's never watched any of the animated series, how do you feel?
Well, this is why I thought this was going to be an interesting chat for us. Was 2 episodes in, and I remember you showing me scenes from some of the movies previously because you were like, dude, you've seen John Wick, right?
Mhm.
You have to see this scene. It's like they looked at John Wick and they were like, oh, we figured it out.
Yeah.
And those scenes alone were enough for me to be like, oh, okay, I could watch it. Jumping into Infinite Darkness, it's a really juicy story as far as the plot in those first 2 episodes. And if it ties into anything that happened in the previous movies, I've got to go back and watch them.
Yeah, so the characters tie in. I wouldn't say the overall plot, at least so far, ties too greatly, except for the fact that it's established characters know each other.
I know
you see
Leon and Claire, yeah.
right? But Leon's been great across all of the animated movies, and now in the series, I still really like him. Visually, there was some great stuff. I loved the White House, like zombie attack. You got one pretty cool shot from Leon where he does the lean over and shoots behind him that I kind of liked. And then the second episode, the submarine, I thought was pretty awesome.
The overall episode of the submarine was dope.
Yeah, I felt like the tension when all of a sudden it bursts through the fucking stomach and eats through it. It reminded me of Too Fast, Too Furious.
Ah, okay.
Puts
With the
rat-
bucket, yeah.
When I never knew that, and did you know that beforehand that a rat will find its way?
So I only knew that because of medieval shows that I've watched in movies. That was a form of torture. That's been being done for years, where you just grab a rat, put it in somebody's stomach, tie a bucket to them. It will find a way to go through your stomach and get out.
Yeah.
It's pretty insane, dude. Rats are disgusting. But it was even more terrifying to find out that there was hundreds of them.
Yeah.
When
he electrocutes
the scene alone where he boots it and it just gets onto the wall, I was like, oh, I would die of a heart attack there.
Dude, when the first one, when he crushes it with the fire extinguisher, I was like, props to you, sir, because I'm dead.
Pinpoint accuracy.
100% I would have died.
That thing would have bit me on my toe and I would have freaked out like a little girl.
Oh, bitch.
Yeah. But another awesome scene is he electrocutes them it's no big oh, water, electricity, and boom.
I do wish there was more episodes. There's only 4 episodes, to where we'll come back with the next 2 next week, and we'll close this out. But it's probably setting up to do more seasons. I think this is going to be one of those Netflix things where 8-9 months from now, maybe we get a season 2, or maybe they've already started planning that or writing it out.
Yeah, you'd hope that they're a little bit more organized with it, so that you're not having to wait too long for episodes. Netflix is kind of notorious for that.
And so we'll wrap there. Did you? Apparently, I'm guessing you did because I see you wrote it down. I did not know that Monsters at Work had come out until yesterday.
So that's why I put it on here, because it caught me by surprise. And I wanted to make sure that at least one of us was prepared, because we did mention it when we did the trailers.
You checked it out?
So I did watch the first episode.
Is it worth watching?
They released 2 episodes. Yes.
Okay.
Because
Mike Wazowski.
Because it takes place literally right after the first movie. So you remember how in the first movie, Mr. Waternoose, who's like the big crab guy,
Yeah.
they catch him on camera basically doing the dirt. They throw him in jail and they turn from scarers to jokesters. This show follows Tyler Tuskman, and he was basically like the next Mike Sullivan. Not Mike Sullivan. Sully. He's the next Sully.
Yeah,
I'm getting him and Mike Wazowski mixed up.
I got you.
But he's the next guy. He gets a recommendation from Sully to go to Monsters Incorporated to get a job out of college. The day he gets the letters Friday, the movie happens on Saturday and Sunday. He comes in on Monday to report for work, and they're like, "Oh, we don't do that anymore." And it's just like, "Oh, damn, dude! Like, I've spent my life's work doing this."
So I definitely will watch that. So everybody at home, I think, should also check out Infinite Darkness, because we'll finish up talking about that next week. Check out Monsters at Work, because we'll definitely talk about that. We can add. That's basically just a new segment of guys who are way too old talking about kid shit.
Yeah, that's cool.
We love those things.
Yeah, I'm all right with
we'll
that.
find a way to bring up porn at some point, I'm sure.
I really hope we get a couple more episodes in before we do that.
Yeah.
But 2 episodes are available right now on Disney Plus. By the time you see this, it might be 3.
Mm-hmm.
So be interesting.
And so most important question coming out of this week going forward, Matt, what do we got coming up that you're excited for?
Oh, well, I think it's only the most anticipated movie since Space Jam 1.
I thought you were just going to say since Black Widow.
No. Well, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't set the bar that high. No, it's only right that we bring up Space Jam 2, Lenny. That's coming out on Friday. Do you think you're going to catch it?
I'm going to. Really frustrating thing, they're not doing a Thursday release for this, because I typically see all my new movies on Thursday, even though Friday is the technical release date. They're not doing that. They're only releasing on Friday, which it works in a way. I'm not going to be able to see it on Friday, but I'm going to on Thursday instead see Escape Room 2.
Nice.
Escape of the Champions.
Oh, snaps.
I never saw Escape Room 1, I don't think. So maybe I should watch it, but I don't necessarily think I have to.
Do you have it on your Voodoo account?
No.
No? Okay.
No. I'm kind of excited, though, because there's a chick in there, Holland Roden, that I like. She was in Teen Wolf.
Oh,
Hasn't really done much since then.
Yeah, I know you're a huge fan of Teen Wolf, so...
I was a fan.
Should be interesting. No, you're a huge fan, dude.
A huge fan of people in it.
No, you're a huge fan of Teen Wolf.
The show itself. It was good.
With it, dude.
It was fine.
Stop arguing with me.
All right, man. My bad.
No, but...
You were just telling me, though, that there's a series on Netflix that's coming out, that they're going to be putting out. That you were really Twilight. You said you were super excited for that, getting at it.
I like how you
Netflix.
flipped it on me on camera, because off screen I was like, "Hey, Len, are you excited that they're releasing all the Twilight movies to Netflix?"
Well, it's really interesting that you would passive aggressively try to move your love for Twilight onto me while we get on camera.
It's not a love. It's more like
when you were the first one to bring it up when we weren't on camera.
It's more like a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
But I know that you enjoy it way more than I do.
Edward Cullen.
No, I'm more of a Team Jacob guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a mistake.
Why?
I
know he doesn't. I know he doesn't win, but
look at their careers.
Oh, what is
that was a wash,
old
dude.
White Nipples doing these days?
He's Batman, motherfucker.
Touche.
Yeah, got you there, dude. Got your hat.
When you're right, you're right.
Okay, so there was other stuff that was definitely coming out this week that we had talked about. Now we only have 2 of those things right now.
Yeah, we're blanking on it now.
Wasn't there?
You said 4 different things.
I know, dude. This is why it's so stupid. We're the worst at this stuff. Oh, wrestling, Matt. End of the Thunderdome. WWE. We're back in front of live crowds going forward.
Oh shit! No way.
So that's huge. That's huge.
What's the next big event?
You have Money in the Bank. So you got a couple ladder matches coming up.
I saw Matt Riddle do his promo when he was standing on the ladders next to the
You
two
watched
suitcases.
something I did not watch.
Really?
If you want to watch some really good stuff on wrestling, though, the past few weeks, Ricochet and John Morrison have been having some really cool matches.
Yeah, okay.
Some really, really inventive spots happening there. So, it's one thing worthy of watching on Raw. You can't say that too much these days. Dude, what are we missing, though?
I don't know.
We are
I'm gonna be honest
missing
with you.
something.
We're
going to get off of here and immediately be like, there was this.
If it's something that we really feel like it's important, then I feel like we'll jump in and do a little 2-minute clip and let you guys know what's up. But I think we're good, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a good episode.
Cool. It's been fun.
So, what we will do is we'll let you guys know that you should be hitting us in the comments letting us know how awesome this episode was, or the flip side, how terrible we were.
Also, what we missed for what's coming up this week that we should watch.
Yeah, I mean,
you keep closing out. I'm gonna keep racking my brain.
No, that's cool. I'm gonna close this out. Hit the subscribe button, and if you haven't done so already, we did an amazing episode with Hey Archer. You can go ahead and catch that on the channel. You can also catch it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Deezers, These Nuts. What do we got?
It, dude. A Quiet Place 2 has been added onto Paramount
That's
Plus.
what it was, and that's what I'm watching.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Certainly jumping on that.
Because initially what had happened was they were supposed to put that on Paramount Plus and then not go to the movies. I think it was going to initially be there at launch. They clearly made an agreement to put it on afterwards. 100% recommend everybody go check that one out. Watch the first one first, because I think if you watch them back to back, you will be really happy with it. So
I think,
do that as a lead-in.
I think we'll definitely set
there
that
is
up
something
for sure.
else that was added, but that's more important. So watch that.
Yeah, I think that's more important because that's something that doesn't cost you anything if you're already a Paramount Plus
Your
member.
love don't cost a thing.
Dude, you with these guilty pleasures in J-Lo, dude.
Yeah, dude, I heard that last night.
Let's talk off scene.
Dude, also, so answer this question at home. Who's the hotter version of J-Lo? The love don't cost a thing version of J-Lo, or has she gotten hotter with age?
No, my love don't cost a thing, J-Lo, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
Bro,
I heard differently from somebody else.
J-Lo?
I heard differently from somebody else.
I'd slap that man or woman, whoever they are. But no violence against women. But Lenny, where can they find us on the socials?
Matt, we are on Twitter.
We're on the tweets?
Good Taste Live.
Good Taste
You
Live?
can find us at Good Taste Live.
Oh, and then we have Instagram.
Yes.
And they can find us at For Those With Good Taste.
That is correct, Matt.
Oh, man.
And they can hit us everywhere else that you've already listed. It's been fantastic. Matt said it. I'm going to say it again. Check out the episode with Steve. Hey, Archer. It was awesome. Also, check out...
For those with good taste. For those with good taste.